All right, so thinking about a career as an ICT technician, well, buckle up because this isn't your grandma's IT anymore. We're not just talking about fixing printers here. We're talking about the invisible force that keeps everything running.
It really is incredible when you think about it. Everything from your smart coffee maker
Oh, yeah.
to those massive data centers you see in sci-fi movies. And what's fascinating is how much the field has exploded, you know? We've gone way beyond simple hardware fixes. Now it's about understanding complex systems, cybersecurity, even, dabbling in the world of AI.
It's amazing. And the best part is this RoleCatcher guide doesn't just throw all this information at you at once. It breaks down this potentially intimidating career path into like manageable steps. So
Yeah.
even if you're starting from scratch, you can see exactly how to go from newbie to like leading your own tech team.
And you're right, it can seem intimidating, but don't let that techie stereotype scare you off. One thing this guide highlights really well is that communication and those people skills, they're just as vital in this role as knowing the tech. Think of it this way. You're the bridge between all this complex tech and the everyday users. You're translating, geek speak into plain English.
Okay, I like that. So let's unpack that. What does an ICT technician actually DO all day? It can't be all ones and zeros,
You
right?
got it. It's not all ones and zeros. Think of it like this. You're the go-to problem solver for anything and everything tech-related.
Okay.
You might be installing a brand new software 1 minute, then guiding a very, shall we say, technologically challenged user through a printer jam the next.
Well, there's always a printer jam.
Always a printer jam. But it's all about understanding how all the pieces fit together, the hardware, the software, everything.
So it's a pretty diverse gig then.
Absolutely. You could be setting up a brand new operating system, training someone on a new software application, and yes, even rescuing someone from the depths of printer despair.
So where does all this magic happen? Is it all stuffy offices and server rooms?
That's a common misconception. That's one of the coolest things about this field. You might find yourself in a typical office setting, sure, but you could also be working in a massive data center, a bustling startup, or even, get this, working from your couch.
Working remotely. Okay, now we're talking. That's what I'm talking about. The guide mentioned that, right? What's the deal with that?
It's a growing trend, especially now that, more and more companies are relying on cloud-based solutions.
Right.
The guide actually calls it the rise of the remote tech wizard, which I have to admit I kind of love.
Rise of the remote tech wizard. I can see that on a business card.
Yeah.
But seriously, working from anywhere sounds pretty amazing. Does the guide mention any downsides to that?
It does, and rightfully so. It does highlight that some tasks will always require being on-site.
Right.
Things like physical installations or those really, really tricky network issues where you have to, crawl around under someone's desk.
Oh, yeah.
And let's be real, even wizards need to connect with their team sometimes. So it's not always about going solo.
That makes sense. You might be working from a beach in Bali one day, then troubleshooting a server meltdown in person the next.
Exactly.
That's a pretty sweet deal. But what about the human side of things? The guide really emphasized those people's skills. And I can see how that's so important, especially, when you're dealing with, shall we say, technologically challenged individuals.
Oh, absolutely. And you hit the nail on the head. Remember those frustrated user scenarios from the guide's sample interview questions?
Yeah.
Imagine someone, they're ready to hurl their laptop out the window because their Wi-Fi is down.
Oh, I've been there.
You need to be a tech whisperer, calming them down while at the same time, diagnosing the problem and trying to get them back online.
It's almost like being a tech therapist.
Haha, in a way, yes.
Yeah.
But seriously, those soft skills, they can really set you apart. Anyone can learn, technical skills, but being able to empathize with a frustrated user, explain those complex things simply, and navigate all those tricky interpersonal dynamics, that's invaluable.
For sure. And the guide didn't shy away from the challenges either, did it? It's not all smooth sailing in the world of ICT.
It's definitely not for the faint of heart. The guide keeps it real, talking about the pressure of, critical system failures, those tight deadlines, and the constant need to learn new things.
Because technology waits for no one.
Exactly. Technology waits for no one.
That's a good point. Speaking of which, how does someone in this field keep up with this ever-changing tech landscape? It seems like every day there's something new to learn.
You're telling me. The guide stresses the importance of continuous learning.
Okay.
Whether it's attending workshops, getting those certifications in the latest tech, or even just, geeking out on industry blogs and podcasts.
Yeah.
You have to be a lifelong learner.
So this isn't a career for someone who wants to just coast along.
Definitely not. It's fast-paced and constantly evolving, but that's also what makes it so exciting. There's always something new to explore, a new challenge to conquer, a new puzzle to solve.
I like that. And speaking of exploring, I loved that the guide didn't just leave you hanging with all this information.
Right.
It actually provided links to different professional organizations and additional resources. Like it's
Yeah.
saying, hey, we're not just going to tell you about this cool career. We're going to give you the tools to actually make it happen.
It's incredibly practical. You know, it even preps you for the interview process with sample questions and advice.
Wait, really? Like actual interview questions they might ask you?
More than just samples, it breaks down how to knock those answers out of the park and stand out from all the other candidates. It's like having a cheat sheet for your dream tech job.
Okay, now that is seriously valuable. It's like they're saying, here's the playbook, go get them.
Exactly. And that's what makes this resource so powerful. It's not just about understanding the job, it's about equipping you to actually land it.
I love that.
Yeah.
So we've covered what ICT technicians do, where they work, and the skills they need. But what about climbing that career ladder? What does growth look like in this field?
That's where things get really interesting. The guide actually lays out a very clear path from like entry level all the way to the top. So let's start with those just dipping their toes into the ICT waters, shall we?
Let's dive in. Tell me about that first rung on the ladder.
At the entry level, you have the entry level ICT technician.
Okay.
Think of it like an apprenticeship.
Okay.
You're learning the ropes, assisting those more experienced technicians, building a foundation. We're talking about those basic software installations, troubleshooting minor hardware issues, maybe helping someone reset their passwords.
Like you're not expected to know everything right out of the gate.
Not at all. Everyone starts somewhere. The key is to be a sponge, soaking up knowledge, asking questions, and gradually, taking on more responsibility as you go.
And what comes after you've conquered those entry-level challenges? What's the next step up?
That would be the junior ICT technician.
Junior ICT technician.
You're starting to flex your tech muscles a bit more.
Okay.
Handling more tasks independently, really building your confidence.
So more responsibility, but also more autonomy.
Exactly. You might be installing and configuring equipment on your own, tackling those more complex technical issues, or even managing, user accounts and permissions.
Okay, I'm sensing a pattern here. Start with the basics, master them, then level up. So what's the next step in this ICT hero's journey?
You guessed it, the intermediate ICT technician. Now we're not just talking about, fixing things when they break. We're talking about preventing problems before they even arise.
Whoa, so it becomes less about reacting to fires and more about being a tech visionary.
Precisely. You're thinking about network security, system optimization, evaluating new technologies. You're becoming a really valuable asset to any team.
This is exciting stuff.
Right.
So what's the pinnacle? What's the Mount Everest of the ICT world?
That, my friend, would be the senior ICT technician. These are the Jedi Masters of the tech universe.
That sounds impressive.
Well,
What does a senior ICT technician actually do? Paint me a picture.
they're the leaders. They're the mentors, the ones who've seen it all and done it all. They might lead teams of technicians, oversee massive projects, manage budgets, or make those big picture decisions about, the entire company's tech infrastructure. When a truly gnarly technical problem rears its head, they're the ones called upon to save the day.
So it's a role that requires serious technical expertise and those leadership skills. That's a powerful combination.
It absolutely is. They need to be able to solve those complex problems, guide others, and inspire their team to achieve greatness.
Wow. So there's a very clear path for growth in this field. You can start with the fundamentals and with dedication and hard work, rise through the ranks to a leadership position. Pretty inspiring.
Absolutely. And along the way, you'll constantly be learning, facing new challenges, and playing a crucial role in how businesses and organizations operate.
That's amazing. We've covered all the different stages of an ICT career, but what about everyone's favorite topic, salary expectations?
Yes, the million-dollar question. Now, keep in mind, salaries can vary widely depending on your experience, your location, the industry, and, of course, any certifications you might have.
Of course, those factors always come into play.
Yeah.
But just to give us a general idea, what kind of salary range are we looking at here?
Well, for those entry-level positions, you're probably looking at starting somewhere between.
Okay.
State the salary range mentioned in the provided materials for entry-level positions. If no specific salary figures are provided, say, the guide doesn't give any hard numbers here, but it does emphasize that.
And what about as you gain experience and move into those higher level positions, what's the earning potential like at the top, let's say, for a senior ICT technician?
Senior ICT technicians can earn a significantly higher salary, sometimes even exceeding.
Wow.
State the salary range mentioned in the provided materials for senior level positions. If no specific figures are provided, say, again, it's tough to give a precise figure without specifics, but it's a good problem to have.
That's for sure. Okay, so the earning potential is definitely there, and I imagine those with specialized certifications can command even higher salaries, right?
Oh, absolutely. Certifications, those are like gold stars on your resume, proving your skills and knowledge to potential
I
employers.
like it.
They can definitely give you a competitive edge in the job market and, yeah, boost your earning power.
The guide mentioned a few specific certifications that are highly valued in this field, right?
It does. Some of the ones it highlights include CompTIA plus A, CompTIA Network plus A, Microsoft Certified IT Professional, or MCITP, and Cisco Certified Network Associate, also known as CCNA.
Those are a mouthful.
They are a mouthful. But these certifications, they cover a broad range of ICT skills, and they are highly respected within the industry.
So those are definitely worth looking into for anyone who's serious about an ICT career. They sound like a worthwhile investment. Now, there's one thing I'm a little fuzzy on. The guide mentions something called RoleCatcher Copilot AI. What exactly is that, and is it as futuristic as it sounds?
It's pretty impressive. Think of it as having a personal career assistant that's powered by, artificial intelligence.
Yeah, okay.
It basically takes all the best parts of RoleCatcher, the job boards, the career guides, the interview prep, and it like turbocharges them with AI.
So it's like RoleCatcher on steroids. Sign me up.
Exactly. Imagine you're applying for a job. Instead of just, crossing your fingers and hoping for the best, RoleCatcher Copilot AI analyzes the job description, your resume, even your application responses, and suggests ways to improve them to really increase your chances of actually getting noticed.
Wow, that's next level stuff. So instead of just blindly sending out applications, you're strategically tailoring them for each opportunity with the help of AI. That's amazing.
That's the beauty of it. It's like having a career coach whispering in your ear, telling you exactly what to tweak and how to present yourself in the absolute best possible light.
Okay, I'm sold. So it's all about working smarter, not harder.
Exactly. RoleCatcher Copilot AI takes care of the heavy lifting, giving you the edge you need to hopefully land that dream job.
This is all incredibly impressive. But tell me, is RoleCatcher Copilot AI a separate paid service, or is it included with the free version of RoleCatcher?
It is a separate paid service, but think of it as an investment in your future. The free version of RoleCatcher is fantastic, but RoleCatcher Copilot AI unlocks a whole new level of career guidance and support. It's like upgrading from economy to first class on your journey to career success.
I can definitely see the value in that.
And the best part is they offer a free trial, so you can take it for a spin, see how it works for you, and decide if it's the right fit for your, career goals.
That's fantastic. No risk, just potential rewards. Now, before we get too caught up in the world of AI career assistance, I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier, the importance of getting your hands dirty in this field.
Ah, yes, a crucial point. ICT is not a spectator sport. It's about rolling up your sleeves, diving into the technical trenches, and embracing the learning process, even when it gets a little messy.
So it's not a career for those afraid of a little hard work?
Exactly. The best way to learn is by doing, by experimenting, by making mistakes, and figuring out how to fix them.
It's about embracing those aha
Wow.
moments that come from hands-on experience. I love that. So we've covered the skills, the career path, the tools, and even the mindset needed to thrive in the world of ICT. What else does someone need to know before they take the plunge?
There's one final piece of advice from the guide that I think is absolutely crucial, and that is don't be afraid to network.
Networking.
Yeah,
I knew we couldn't get through this entire deep dive without talking about networking.
of course not.
Some people love it, some people dread it. Why is it so important, especially in a fast-paced field like ICT?
Networking, it's like having a secret weapon in your career arsenal. It's not just about what you know, it's about who you know.
Right.
And in the tech world, things move so quickly. Having a strong network can give you like an inside track on job opportunities, industry trends, and just really valuable advice from seasoned professionals.
So it's like having a team of tech mentors and cheerleaders in your corner, helping you navigate this crazy, ever-evolving world of ICT.
Precisely. And building a strong network, it's not about, schmoozing or collecting business cards. It's about building genuine connections with people who share your passion for technology.
And we're back. It's funny, we've talked a lot about the technical skills you need to be an ICT technician.
Right?
But this whole conversation is really highlighting that this career path, it's about so much more than just, knowing your way around a motherboard.
I completely agree. And what I think is so fascinating is how that connects to the bigger picture.
Yeah.
This isn't just about one specific job title. It's about developing a mindset.
Okay.
That problem solving, the adaptability, that communication. These
Yeah.
are skills that are valuable in almost every field these days.
That's so true.
Mhm.
It's almost like becoming an ICT technician is like a crash course in future-proofing your career, no matter where you end up.
Precisely. It's about staying ahead of the curve. And speaking of which, the guide dives into some major industry trends that are really shaping the future of ICT.
Okay.
And I think these are essential for anyone considering this career path to be aware of.
Okay, let's get into it. What kind of trends are we talking about here?
Well, one that looms large is the rise of automation.
Automation. That word seems to be everywhere these days. What does it actually mean for someone like working in ICT?
It means that a lot of those tasks that used to be done manually are now being handled by software and intelligence systems.
So are robots coming for ICT jobs? Should we be worried?
Not necessarily. While it's true that some of those more routine tasks might be automated, this actually creates opportunities for ICT technicians to move into more specialized and higher level roles.
Okay, so rather than replacing jobs altogether, automation is kind of reshaping the nature of the work.
Exactly. It's pushing ICT technicians to become more versatile, to level up their skills, and really embrace those new technologies. Think of it this way. Instead of just fixing a server when it crashes, you might be the one who programs the system that prevents it from crashing in the first place.
Working smarter, not harder.
Mm.
I like the sound of that. What other trends are on the horizon?
Another big one, and this is only going to become more important, cybersecurity.
Right, cybersecurity. With all the data breaches and cyber attacks we hear about in the news, it's clear that this is a major concern for companies of all sizes.
Absolutely. And that's why ICT technicians with expertise in cybersecurity are in such high demand.
Right.
It's not just about, keeping systems running smoothly anymore. It's about protecting those systems and all that sensitive data they hold from these increasingly sophisticated threats.
So you're not just a tech wizard, you're a digital bodyguard, protecting valuable information.
I love that analogy. And it's true. It's a critical aspect of the job, and it requires a deep understanding of security protocols, threat detection, and those prevention strategies.
It sounds like a constantly evolving field, which, knowing the tech world, it definitely is.
Exactly. And that ties into the importance of continuous learning that we talked about earlier.
Right.
To stay ahead of the game in cybersecurity, you need to be constantly learning about new threats, vulnerabilities, and those security best practices.
So for someone who loves problem solving and is always up for a challenge, cybersecurity within ICT sounds like it has a lot to offer.
Absolutely.
Now, I know we touched on this earlier, but the guide also emphasized the importance of those all-important people skills, right?
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on why those are so crucial in this field?
Absolutely. It's easy to get, caught up in the technical side of things.
Right.
But at the end of the day, technology, it's all about people.
Okay.
It's about connecting people, empowering people, and ultimately making their lives easier.
That's a great point. It really brings a human element to what might otherwise seem like a very technical field.
Exactly. And that's where those soft skills, that communication, empathy, patience, they all come into play.
For sure.
As an ICT technician, you're constantly interacting with people, whether it's explaining, a complex technical issue to a non-technical colleague or patiently guiding that frustrated user through a software glitch.
It's about building trust and rapport, making people feel heard and understood, even when they're, in the throes of tech-induced frustration.
Precisely. And that's something that the guide highlights really well. It actually provides some practical tips on how to develop those soft skills, even if you're not naturally, an outgoing people person.
Like what? What kind of tips are we talking about?
Well, for example, it talks about the importance of active listening, really taking the time to understand someone's problem before jumping in with a solution.
Right, right.
It also emphasizes clear and concise communication, avoiding all that technical jargon and really explaining things in a way that anyone can understand.
Because let's face it, no one wants to feel talked down to or patronized, especially when they're already feeling flustered by a technical issue.
Exactly. It's about meeting people where they're at, understanding their frustration, and guiding them towards a solution in a way that makes them feel empowered, not incompetent.
It's almost like being a tech translator, bridging that gap between the complexities of technology and the everyday user.
I like that. It's about making technology accessible and user-friendly for everyone.
I like it. And that brings us to another point, that the guide really drove home the importance of beating the automated recruiter.
Yes.
What exactly does that mean, and how can someone actually make their application stand out in what is probably a sea of resumes?
That's a great question. It's no secret that more and more companies are using applicant tracking systems, or ATS, to streamline their hiring process.
Right, those AI-powered gatekeepers that scan resumes for specific keywords and qualifications.
Exactly. And while these systems can be incredibly efficient,
Right,
they can also be a bit of a black box for job seekers.
right.
You could be the perfect candidate for the role, but if your resume doesn't have the right keywords or formatting, it might never even be seen by a human.
So it's like your resume is stuck in digital limbo, lost in the vast expanse of the internet. Not a good feeling.
Not at all. But that's where the guide's advice on beating the automated recruiter comes in.
Okay.
It provides some really, really insightful tips and strategies for optimizing your resume and cover letter for these systems so you can really increase your chances of getting noticed.
Okay, give us the inside scoop.
Yeah.
What are some of the secrets to cracking the code of the automated recruiter?
Well, one of the most important things is to tailor your resume to each specific job that you apply for.
Okay.
Gone are the days of using a generic resume for every application.
So no more mass applying with the same old resume.
Not if you want to stand out. You need to take the time to really carefully read that job description.
Well,
Identify the key skills and experience that they're looking for,
yeah.
and then make sure that your resume clearly reflects those qualifications.
It's like solving a puzzle, figuring out what pieces of your experience fit best with the puzzle pieces the employer's looking for.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just, listing your skills and experience.
Okay.
You need to use the same language and terminology as the job description whenever possible.
So it's almost like you're speaking the automated recruiter's language,
Yeah.
making it easier for the system to recognize your qualifications.
Precisely. And don't underestimate the power of formatting. Use clear headings, bullet points, white space, to make your resume easy to scan and digest, both for humans and for machines.
Because no one, human or machine, wants to wade through a wall of text.
So we've talked about tailoring your resume, using keywords, and formatting it effectively. What other gems does the guide offer when it comes to conquering these digital gatekeepers? It also emphasizes the importance of showcasing your accomplishments and really quantifying your results whenever possible.
Okay.
Instead of just saying you're, a problem solver, provide specific examples of problems that you've solved and the positive outcomes that we've achieved.
So it's about backing up those claims with concrete evidence.
Exactly. Numbers speak volumes. If you can quantify your accomplishments with data and metrics, it just adds credibility to your claims and makes your resume stand out.
It's like saying, hey, I didn't just fix things, I increased efficiency by 20%. Those numbers pack a punch.
Absolutely. And don't be afraid to highlight those soft skills as well.
Right.
Remember, we talked about how important those are in the world of ICT.
Right, those all-important people skills. But how do you effectively showcase those on a resume that's primarily focused on technical abilities?
Well, you can incorporate them into your work experience descriptions. For example, instead of just saying you provided technical support, you could say you provided empathetic and solution-oriented technical support to a diverse user base.
Oh, that's good.
You're still highlighting that you provided technical support, but you're also weaving in those soft skills that employers are looking for.
It's about painting a picture of yourself as a well-rounded candidate. Yeah. Someone who possesses both the technical chops and those interpersonal skills to thrive in, let's face it, a very fast-paced tech environment.
Exactly. And while it's super important to optimize your resume for those automated systems, don't forget that there's still a human on the other end who will ultimately be making that hiring decision.
Right, because at the end of the day, technology can help streamline the process, but it's that human connection that seals the deal.
I couldn't agree more. And that brings us back to the importance of building that strong professional network.
Networking. We've circled back to our trusty friend. It seems like no matter what aspect of a career in ICT we explore, networking always emerges as this valuable tool.
And for good reason. Networking is especially crucial in a field like ICT, where things are constantly changing and those new opportunities are always emerging.
So remind us again why networking is so essential in the world of ICT, and how can someone who might not be like a natural-born networker, go about building those valuable connections?
Well, networking can open doors to job opportunities that you might not otherwise hear about.
It's like having a direct line to the inside scoop on what's happening in the industry and where those hidden job gems might be hiding.
Exactly. And it's not just about, getting your foot in the door. Networking can connect you with mentors,
Right.
people who've already navigated all the twists and turns of the ICT career path and can offer, invaluable advice and guidance.
Right. Because who better to learn from than those who've been there, done that, and have the tech scars to prove it?
Exactly. They can share their experiences, offer insights into, different career paths and help you avoid some of those common pitfalls. Plus, having a strong network of like-minded professionals, it just provides a sense of community and support. Right. Which is crucial in any field, but especially one as fast-paced and ever-evolving as ICT.
So how does someone who might be, a bit more introverted, who doesn't necessarily thrive in those crowded networking events,
Yeah.
how do they go about building those valuable connections? Does the guide offer any tips for us less than social butterflies?
It does, and it really emphasizes that networking doesn't have to be about, awkward small talk and forcing yourself into these uncomfortable social situations.
Right.
It can be as simple as connecting with people online through professional networking sites like LinkedIn,
Yeah.
or joining, online communities and forums related to your interests.
So you can build your network from the comfort of your own home, noise-canceling headphones firmly in place.
Yeah.
I can get on board with that.
Exactly. And even when you do attend, industry events, don't put pressure on yourself to be the life of the party.
Right.
Just focus on having genuine conversations with people, asking questions, and listening more than you talk.
It's about quality over quantity, building those meaningful connections rather than just, collecting business cards.
Exactly. Authenticity is key. People can spot a phony a mile away. So just be yourself, be genuinely interested in others, and let those conversations flow naturally.
And who knows? That person you strike up a conversation with at a tech conference could end up being your future boss, mentor, or business partner. The possibilities are pretty much endless.
Exactly.
Now, before we wrap up our deep dives into the world of ICT, I wanted to circle back to something we touched on earlier, the rise of remote work. It seems like that's a major trend that's only going to become more prevalent in the years to come.
Absolutely. And it's such a fascinating trend because it presents both incredible opportunities and these really unique challenges for the ICT industry.
On the one hand, it opens up a world of possibilities for ICT professionals.
Yeah.
Imagine having the flexibility to work from anywhere in the world, setting your own hours, being your own boss.
Exactly. That digital nomad lifestyle, working from a beach in Bali one day and a coffee shop in Paris the next.
I know, right?
It's becoming increasingly attainable for those in the tech industry.
But then there's the flip side of that coin. The potential downsides of a largely remote workforce.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the challenges that come with this shift towards remote work in ICT?
One of the biggest challenges is trying to replicate that collaborative environment of a traditional office setting.
Okay.
When you're working remotely, you miss out on those spontaneous brainstorming sessions, those hallway conversations that spark new ideas, and that sense of camaraderie that comes from, being physically present with your team.
It's like that saying, proximity matters. Even though technology allows us to connect remotely, there's still something to be said for that face-to-face interaction.
Absolutely. And that's something that a lot of companies are grappling with as they navigate this new world of work.
Right.
How do you foster a really strong team culture and maintain a sense of connection when everyone is working from, different locations, potentially different time zones?
Right? It requires a really conscious effort to create opportunities for virtual team building, to encourage regular communication, and to ensure that those remote workers feel just as included and valued as their in-office counterparts.
Exactly. And that kind of ties into another challenge, the potential for miscommunication and misunderstandings when you're not physically present with your team.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Things can get lost in translation when you're relying solely on emails, instant messages, and video calls.
Exactly.
You miss out on those subtle cues, those nonverbal forms of communication that really help to, clarify meaning and prevent misunderstanding.
Exactly. And that can lead to, frustration delays and even, costly mistakes. So clear and concise communication becomes even more crucial in a remote work environment.
It's about being extra mindful of how you communicate, double-checking for clarity, and not being afraid to pick up the phone or hop on a quick video call if there's any room for misinterpretation.
Exactly. And then there's the challenge of maintaining a healthy work-life balance when your office is, just a few steps away from your living room.
Oh, that's a big one. It's so easy to blur those boundaries when you're working remotely
Yeah.
to answer emails during dinner or check your work messages late at night.
Exactly. And that can lead to burnout and exhaustion.
For sure.
So it's crucial to, set boundaries, to create a dedicated workspace and really make time for yourself in your personal life, even when you're working remotely.
It's about treating your remote work life with the same level of discipline and boundaries as you would a traditional office job, even if you're, wearing sweatpants and slippers while you're doing it.
Exactly.
Now, we've talked about the challenges of remote work in ICT, but let's not forget about the incredible opportunities that it presents.
Right.
What are some of the positive aspects of this trend that have you excited about the future of the field?
Well, for one, it's opening up opportunities for ICT professionals in remote areas or who, for whatever reason, might not have access to those, traditional job markets. Maybe they live in a rural area or they have a disability that makes it difficult to commute.
Okay.
Remote work really levels the playing field, giving talented individuals from all over the world the chance to contribute their skills and build successful careers regardless of their location.
It's leveling the playing field, giving talented individuals from all over the world the chance to contribute their skills and build successful careers regardless of their location. I love that.
Me too. And it's not just about location. Remote work can provide, a better work-life balance, reduced commuting time, and increased flexibility,
Right.
which can lead to greater job satisfaction and, overall well-being.
And happier, less stressed ICT professionals means happier, more productive companies. It's a win-win. So
Exactly.
it seems like the key to really thriving in this new world of remote work is adaptability, communication, and a strong sense of self-discipline.
Absolutely. And a willingness to embrace those new technologies and ways of working.
Because the world of ICT is all about embracing innovation and pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So to wrap things up, if you're someone who thrives on challenge, is passionate about technology, and is eager to be at the forefront of innovation, then becoming an ICT technician might just be your calling.
It's a challenging, rewarding, and constantly evolving field that offers a world of opportunities for those willing to put in the work and embrace the journey.
And with amazing resources like this RoleCatcher guide and RoleCatcher Copilot AI, you'll have all the tools and guidance you need to navigate this exciting world of ICT, whether you're just starting out or looking to level up your career. So there you have it, folks. A deep dive into the dynamic world of ICT technicians. We've covered a ton of ground today, from the essential skills and career paths to the latest industry trends and the future of work. And remember, this is just the tip of the iceberg. The world of technology is vast and ever-changing, so never stop learning, exploring, and pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Well said. And thanks for having me on the show. It's been a blast.
It's been a pleasure having you.
Yeah.
And to all our listeners out there, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next episode of The Deep Dive.